All right, guys, welcome to Onelife Podcast with Elliott with IMR Float, IMR Massage. Pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
I'm very excited to talk to you. You live and breathe cold therapy, float, massage, all that good stuff.
Yep.
There's a lot I want to talk to you about.
Absolutely.
I could see myself doing what you do. So I love watching what you do.
Right.
You've got these amazing businesses. You're helping so many people in so many different ways. What got you started? What makes you want to do what you do?
Yeah, so my background is in massage therapy.
Oh, is it really?
Yep. I went to massage school when I was 2005. I was 19 years old.
Okay.
And I just wanted to help people. I wanted to learn a skill. College wasn't my route. I didn't want to go to 4 years of college. I was always like an entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah.
Had little businesses when I was a kid.
What type of little businesses did you have?
I mowed lawns. I changed people's oil.
Oh, did you really?
Like ink pens.
So you're hustling from it. What age did you start hustling?
Oh man, probably in middle school.
Really?
My grandma's friend had a pen company, and we would sell ink pens, and he would send them to me in bulk, and I would sell them to kids at school. And that was kind of like my first little business. And then from like mowing lawns, I was into automotive for a while, so I was like changing my neighbors' oils in their cars and things like that.
You hear about a lot of successful entrepreneurs, and they start at an early age.
Exactly. I think you're kind of born with that instinct of just wanting to, not work for somebody else, and you have that drive to just make your own hustle.
Were your parents entrepreneurs, or they were?
My parents, my mom was a teacher. My dad was like he built like board games and things like that.
Okay, for himself or for a company?
For like military, and my parents had like a New Frontiers publishing company when they were, younger, and they did have a business, but didn't go as well. So it wasn't like a successful business that they like handed off to me or anything like that.
But you just had that entrepreneurial DNA.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you're a masseuse?
Yep, massage therapist, and just,
How'd that go? So I was a personal trainer at the same age.
Yeah.
And what I realized, it was more than just personal training. It was running a business.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you go getting clients?
Well, I started, obviously, I went to massage school in Orlando, Florida. I moved to Georgia for a little bit, worked there. And then my sister at the time was living in Vegas, and I was 21, didn't really love Atlanta. And she kind of convinced me to, hey, you can make a great money as a therapist out here. So I really didn't start out just own business. I knew I had to get experience. I had to learn the industry, and I wanted to work for different businesses to see what works, what doesn't work. So I worked from Massage Envy to in the World Series of Poker doing like the chair massages.
Oh, really? Okay.
Bally's, Flamingo. My longest employment was at the Trump Spa on the Strip.
Oh, really?
So that was like a 5-star resort where I really learned like 5-star standard. Massages there were like $160 an hour.
How was that experience doing a whole bunch of different things?
It was great.
Did that help a lot, molding you where you want to go?
Soaking it in, and then towards, as I got more, I started making my own business cards, started handing them out. And then I started going to people's homes and doing like in-home massage, in hotel room massage. And then as the business was growing, not everybody wanted you to come to their location. They wanted to go to somewhere.
Okay.
So I subleased one room in a place called the Pearl Med Spa, which was on Eastern and Silverado Ranch.
Yeah, I know.
So my first room, $400 a month, leasing it out. And that's kind of where I started IMR. I wanted to have a business.
Started. How cool is that?
Exactly.
Just a room.
Just one room.
How cool is that?
So I wanted to integrative muscular rehab. Massage, especially as a male therapist, there's a bad stigma with sex, prostitution, happy endings,
creepiness.
And so as a male therapist, I had to always be professional, and I wanted it to be more medical, sports based, as opposed to just, I'm going to relax. Because I educated my clients on, massage is a need, not a necessity. Sure, you can like get a massage and be pampered and relaxed like that. I noticed more on the East Coast, people got massages for special occasions, birthdays, things like that. West Coast is like athletes, car dealers, people who use their bodies consistently.
I've never had a massage just for the pleasure of it.
Yeah.
It's always breaking up something or fixing something.
And that's what I love to do. I took a bunch of CEUs. I learned sports massage, medical massage. I liked hey, it hurts when my shoulder does this, and going in there, working those muscles,
Hey, my shoulder actually hurts right now. I'll ask you about that afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so just learning the industry, learning modalities, and then from the one room that actually grew to 2 massage rooms. So
was that another staff member? Or?
Yeah, so I brought on a couple therapists because I was at the point where I was booked out like 5 days a week.
Why were you booked out? What made you different to everybody else?
I think I just my going above and beyond to take care of the clients.
How are you doing that?
Developing like a 5-star standard, from the quality of sheets that you use on your table to custom music. I would little things like asking the client, what kind of music do you want to listen to during your massage? Most of the time you go in, it's just whatever's playing, using quality products, and then not just doing a cookie cutter type of massage on the client. If you come in for an hour, most places you go, they'll just do a generic full body massage on you, when I would be like, okay, these are your problem areas. I'm going to customize the treatment.
It's like reflexology. It's literally a system.
Exactly.
And it's the same for everybody.
Yep. So I would just going above and beyond and just being attentive, following up with clients, having good conversations with them, knowing
just basic business skills.
Exactly.
Right?
One of the things with the client, some clients will talk to you the whole hour.
Just like
Others
personal training.
want to relax. So knowing when to talk to your client, when to not, that's a complaint that we've had.
There's a lot of lessons in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just knowing how to be a professional and just giving quality massages, and always furthering my education through CEUs, through workshops. I've flown all over the country.
Really?
Like, it's a cool business trip to go to Seattle, to go to Florida, just to take like a workshop.
Something you're passionate about that you can
Exactly.
apply to your business.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you got booked up, and then you took a second room.
Exactly.
Hired
Second
someone
room,
else.
hired 2 therapists, hired someone who started working the phones from home,
Okay.
who eventually became my business partner.
Got a question for you,
Yeah.
actually. Sorry, I will go back to that. How did you enforce the standards on your other 2 masseuses
I would
to uphold what you were doing?
Yeah, so we had like a written 5-star standard, and then it was just like training. So when they come in, you either have like a model person on the table, or like, hey, when you come in, little things like, how's the face rest?
Where'd you learn that from?
I think I learned that from like just the standard of working at the Trump Spa and working, with high-end clients and in a 5-star type.
Because you're able to do it, you were just naturally, this is what it's
Yeah.
expect. That's interesting.
And
I
a
feel
lot
like
of-
a lot of businesses like that.
Exactly. And
Was
a lot of it, sorry.
No, you're good. Was it hard to find people to do that?
Oh yeah. Finding good help is hard to find is always an understatement. You know, finding those great therapists, there's a lot of therapists throughout my whole career that we've interviewed, auditioned, and they just don't have like, they just didn't make the cut.
People
or they
skills,
just
the
didn't
passion, they just want a paycheck.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So just finding those, but it was definitely challenging. You go through a lot, and then when it's only Elliot for a long time, nobody is going to be as good as you, or your clients who like you.
Yeah, I got.
I'm like, hey, I'm booked. Here's this therapist. She was good, but she wasn't you.
Yeah.
And as that goes, that is a struggle. But eventually, I did find people that were just as good, and I can be honest, even better than me. Which
I was gonna
is
say,
what you want. Like,
how does that go when you're like, hey, I actually prefer Sandra? Or,
I love that. I'm booked. You know what I mean?
I'm free now.
No, I honestly I'm not. My ego is not that big where it like bothers me.
That's good.
So I'm able to like, hey, that's great, because I can't massage everyone in the world.
Yeah.
I can't. I know people love me for my techniques, for my flow, for my personality. And I want that. Like, if you love this therapist more, that's great.
Yeah.
Because, the business is still profiting, that therapist is getting booked, and you're happy with another therapist. So that wasn't like, oh, my feelings are hurt. Like, you like her better than me.
No,
I didn't have that issue.
That's cool.
And bringing on female therapists helps, because not everybody wants a male therapist.
Then they got options. Yeah,
exactly.
That's interesting.
In the spa industry alone, like at the Trump, it would be 5 females on staff to 1 male, because
just because of the demand.
Females are always the most requested. More females are more comfortable with the female, either insecurities with their body, or just they think a guy could be creepy. And a lot of guys, I hate to say it, homophobic. I don't want a guy touching me.
Homophobic being a huge one.
But and some guys are like, a girl isn't strong enough, so they want.
Give me the biggest buffers guy you can find.
Exactly.
Someone to hold me by my.
Yeah, but there are some females that we have some that little girls that work for me that are just that pressure, that elbow. They can be stronger than me.
I would say my best massages have come from 5 foot females who are strong as an ox.
Yeah,
and they just know how to work it.
And with hydraulic massage tables, that helps our body mechanics.
So you can get that.
So if it's a really thick guy, you drop your massage table down,
on top of him.
You use your leverage and
that's a good point, because it's all the one height. You're literally like the table feels like it's gonna fall over.
Right. And people always say, like, don't your hands get tired? But I'm not doing this when you massage for hours. You're using tools. You're using your elbow. You're using your forearm.
Leverage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to use that.
Okay. So your business partner came from your first masseuse you hired, or?
So basically, I put out a search, and she started answering calls from home for me.
Okay.
And then from there, after a while, basically, I don't know if you remember the Beijing Olympics, Michael Phelps had the cupping marks.
Yeah.
That's one of the techniques that
I love cupping.
Yeah, that's one of my specialties that I had a lot of training in, and for a while I was the only one who did the technique where you don't just put cups on your back and walk out of the room. At IMR, we incorporate manual massage, gliding with the cups, and placement of the cups.
Okay.
So the 3 steps.
Kit. I love the thing.
Yeah, so when that blew up, when he had the cupping marks, it was like the whole craze of like, what are these weird marks on Michael Phelps' back?
The octopus, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the next day, we got contacted by Las Vegas Review Journal, local radio stations, Fox 5 News, and they all, like, I guess they Googled cupping Las Vegas, and I was at the top. So they wanted to do interviews with me. They wanted to learn about this. I had one of the anchors, Mike Doria from Fox 5, literally on the massage table doing live reports at 6 a.m. news while I'm cupping him.
How cool is that?
And our phones just blew up after that. We had more phone calls than I could even handle. And it was me and one therapist at that time.
Really?
So it was just, and then that kind of gave the momentum where IMR was growing, and I looked for a property which we have on Pebble and Eastern. So we did a complete build out there, and started with 4 massage rooms and a little Zen room, and that was when in 2017 where the business kind of evolved to its own standalone location rather than just subleased inside of another business.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that was the biggest step that the company's like first big leap.
It's like that preparation meets opportunity, right? Like you're lucky that happened, but you're also prepped and heading that direction.
Exactly.
You weren't just sitting back crossing your fingers hoping for that to happen.
Right.
You would have got that regardless. That just gave you a bump.
Yep.
That's crazy. Okay, so you've got the massage, and then the float. Let's talk the float.
Yeah, floating I've been floating for about maybe 8 years now.
I love how you say it. It's like, it reminds me of surfing or something cool.
Yeah, right.
What is floating for people who don't know?
Yeah, so floating is floating in a tank of water. It's 11 inches. It's filled with 1,300 pounds of Epsom salt.
1,300.
Yeah, it's a lot. We buy it by the pallet. It's medical grade Epsom salt, so it's the purest form without a lot of rocks and stuff in it. And they deliver it by the pallet, and we dissolve it into the water. Yeah. And it's actually clear. Most people think that the water might be like milky or like you're actually on top of salt. But the way that it dissolves in, you can hardly tell. Yeah. It feels like very silky. Yeah. So it's 94 degrees, and you basically step in, you lay back, and you float effortlessly, more buoyant than the Dead Sea. Water line comes about right to here. You lay back, you relax, and inflammation, muscle tension, stress, anxiety. There's a lot of studies coming out. They've done peer-reviewed studies showing that it helps with anxiety and stress, which is one of the biggest things the industry is working on right now.
It seems to be the most prevalent thing, especially with social media, phones, technology.
Exactly. Yeah. And Dr. Justin Feinstein, he's actually working on fundraising for a research study to compare floating to Xanax and to oxycodone, and to basically show that floating is just as effective and non-addictive, healthier for you, and can still make you have the same results through using drugs. And the goal would be to have floating accepted by insurance companies in the future, but we need more studies. There's just a lot of pushback because obviously the reign and the power of pharmaceutical companies, they don't want this study being done. They're going to lose customers.
They're
right?
going to lose a lot of money.
A lot of customers.
Yeah.
If you knew that you could do something natural and not have to take chemicals in your body every day, like that's great, but they don't want to lose their customer.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we're fighting. So yeah, floating for me, when I was massaging a lot, I was floating weekly to every other week, getting regular massages.
Where are we going to get
I floated at every place in Vegas, but I had memberships at True Rest, NV Float, Allure Float Spa, which was the location that was IMR before we took over the space.
Okay, gotcha.
And yeah, I loved it. It helps my neck pain. It would bring my stress from here to here. And it was just my way of just disconnecting, unplugging. You know, as a business owner, we're constantly emails, notifications, lights, sounds.
Yeah.
The float tank environment removes all of that. So
I love how you said that. Yeah, it's like you time.
Yeah, when I'm in the float tank, my phone's on Do Not Disturb. Nothing bothers me for at least an hour, sometimes more. I'll do 2-3 hour floats sometimes.
So you invited me out and I did a float for the first time, and isolated room.
Yep.
Your own shower, your own room. Turn the lights off, turn the lights on, put your own music on.
Exactly.
And I would say it's the only time you're really completely disconnected from everything. Because I meditate, and I meditate most nights, but the phone will beep, or the TV's on, or the dog will bark, or there's always something going on. It's very hard to just get nothing.
Exactly.
And I related to kind of meditating. The first 15 minutes I was like, this is silly. I can't relax. I can't drop back. I can't sink into it. And all of a sudden, you're in like Zen state, right?
Yep.
You're in this like, oh my God, I'm so comfy. I do not want to move a pinky because I don't want to risk how comfortable I am and how at peace I'm in.
Yeah.
So it's like the first 10, 15 minutes I was fighting it, and the next 45 minutes is like heaven.
Yeah, you got to acclimate about 15, 20 minutes.
I remember you saying that actually.
You're acclimating your temperature. That's why you don't want to take a super hot shower before. You want to be neutral. You're one with the water.
Neutral being a good word,
That's
right?
why it's best not to wear any clothing when you're in there. You know.
And that's the thing, you're also doing it naked.
Yep.
Yeah. So you haven't got anything touching you.
Exactly. No elastic bands, nothing like that. And I mean, you hit that point and you just disappear. You know, it's amazing. I love it. Like I'm obsessed with floating.
When I went in, I talked to two ladies on the way in. One lady was like, I got a lot of pain. The only time I'm ever pain-free is when I float.
Right.
And I thought about that. If you got lower back pain or any type of pain, even sitting right now, you still got pressure on you.
Yeah.
When you're in a bed, you still got pressure on you. And it made me realize that like, when you're floating, it's the only time that you have zero pressure on any part of your body.
Exactly.
So that's a huge benefit, right?
Oh yeah, zero gravity. They say it's the closest thing. The astronauts have floated, and they said that's the closest thing on Earth to being in outer space.
Oh, really?
Because there's zero stress on your spine. If you just do some slow turns, you can feel your back like pop, pop, pop.
Oh, really?
Natural, just gentle adjustments. Muscle tension dissipates. Inflammation from the Epsom salts dissipates. And it's like being on a
plus you got
cloud.
the Epsom salt benefits, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. So if you're a type of person who wants to get pressure off yourself, it's
the best
way
place
to do it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does take 2 or 3 floats to completely surrender, to let go. I always say the first float's like a learning float.
Okay.
You know, you're in a new environment, you're laying there naked, you're figuring out where to put your arms or hands.
That was another thing, right? I was constantly like, what?
Yeah.
And I get tight shoulders. I'm like, where do these arms
Opening up
go?
your arms like goalposts opens up your neck and shoulders, but some people are more comfortable with their arms on the
I end
side.
up down here.
You can have them here. You can cross over your chest.
Oh, so you even float like that? Yeah.
Some people can. I just give people options. We have a little halo that's like a floaty that can give your cervical spine some support.
I ended up using the halo
just
because I was having trouble just dropping my head the way it's supposed to drop.
And some people are subconsciously holding their head up because they think if they let it go, they're going to sink or drown. So you might be like trying to be stiff on the water. Like if you float in a pool, you do kind of have to keep your back straight and kind of
you got to keep yourself floating.
But in the Epsom salts, it's just effortless.
It does it for you.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get your head around. But so does it continue to evolve and get better the more you do it?
Oh yeah, I fall deeper into the meditation each practice.
Do you really?
For me, some floats are just very meditative, very restorative. Other floats could be active. You know, like I come up with some of my best ideas in the float tank. If you have a problem to solve, there's no distractions in there. There's no phone ringing. There's no Instagram notifications. You're just one with the water. And people have had traumas come up, which could be a good or a bad thing. They've had memories that they've totally forgotten about while they're in the float tank.
The suppressed.
Exactly. Just from being in that environment, like it's really cool when you don't have that sensory input where your mind and where your thoughts can go.
Yeah, like a mask in a way, right? A distraction.
Yeah,
you're not able to mask anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was literally having a conversation earlier. It's like being present and just being with your own mind and being with yourself without TV or radio or news or podcast or text or light or.
And for some people, that's terrifying. You know, like
I mean,
people tell me, I'm afraid to be alone with my thoughts, you know? And
well, I mean, how many people actually do that, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty rare.
What does it say about yourself if you can't be alone with your thoughts?
Yeah.
You know, and they think an hour, their jaw will drop when I tell them it's an hour float. They're like, 1 hour? They're like, what do you do for an hour? And I'm like, you do nothing. And they're just like scratching their head like, nothing. Like, don't you get bored? I'm like, no, like you're just there. You do nothing. Like in today's world, we're always entertained, right? They want a flat screen TV on the ceiling. They want Twitter. They want something to entertain them. Like they always need sensory, you know?
That's so fun. How old are you? Yeah.
I'm 36.
Okay, I'm 43. So remember when you go to the doctor, your mum would go to the doctor and we didn't have an iPad or a phone. We had to entertain ourselves or, I mean,
play with the little blocks.
Magazines. Literally like now you're never forced to entertain yourself. You're never forced to be even driving the car.
Yeah.
I mean, have you got kids or not?
No kids.
Yeah, I mean, even in the car, your kids on the iPad or they're not
kids
looking
these
out the
days
window.
are on the phones.
They're not looking at nature.
I think
so. Like you said, you're never by yourself. You're always getting pulled which way or another.
Exactly.
That's So
the float tank is just, I say it cures all, you know.
What's the best thing you've seen from the float tank or the best thing you've heard from somebody? They're like,
man, I think the biggest thing is people who have chronic pain. You mentioned it earlier, fibromyalgia, things like that, that even if they have chronic pain, ALS, any ailment, any muscular thing, even if for 1 hour they have no pain, for them that is just
like heaven,
life-changing.
Yeah.
You know, or I've had people get off of their prescription drugs or pain pills. You know, we have unlimited memberships, so we have members floating 3, 4, sometimes up to 5 times a week.
Oh, really?
And they say it's life-changing. You know, like people who have very severe anxiety, depression. I've had people tell me stories of having amazing breakthroughs, you know, athletes helping their athletic performance.
Talk to me about the athletes. What do they get out of?
Yeah, well, we take care of, you know, some of the Raiders, UFC fighters. We take care of a lot of the UNLV football players during the season.
What type of benefits are they getting?
I mean, inflammation, recovery from muscle soreness.
How does that help with inflammation?
The Epsom salts, the magnesium is, you know, a lot of people will say take an Epsom salt bath. You pour like...
I have Epsom salts in my cold plunge.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know all the scientific off the top of my head about scientifically or anatomy-wise how it helps with inflammation. Yeah. But I know that the muscle soreness and inflammation is decreased through the float therapy.
Yeah, and I was just curious. I could see why it would. I just wasn't sure of the actual science behind it.
And just, I mean, some of the top athletes, you know, I know Tom Brady's been a floater for a long time. He even has had one in his house.
Maybe that's his secret.
Yeah, I mean, 40, 45, he just retired, but to keep that, and I know a lot of the top teams in the country, pro teams, have float tanks in their facilities.
Do they really?
Yeah, so it's
Joe Rogan's got one too, right?
Joe Rogan, yeah, he's a huge
swears by the thing.
advocate.
Yeah.
Oh man,
he's been talking that thing up for years.
and it's crazy. The float industry, people literally come in because they heard about floating from Joe Rogan.
I mean, that's the only reason I'd heard of it. Was from Joe Rogan.
It's like, how did you hear about us? Google, Yelp, Joe Rogan. It's like, check. That's like on our checkbox. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
But it's, I mean, we thank him, and I had another podcast. Someone literally heard about floating, the higher dose. If I'm saying that, but it's another podcast. Somebody came in, they heard about it on that podcast. She bought an unlimited membership.
Oh, really?
Before even trying floating.
Oh, really?
She's like, this sounds amazing. I'm in.
That's awesome.
I don't even need to try it. $300 a month, sign me up.
That's awesome.
And it's just crazy how just one person or one celebrity or one, even like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Little kids are wanting to float because Stranger Things, Elle, the character on the show, was floating to like get her powers back.
Oh, so I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so people like another girl and her mom, they came in to float because the daughter was obsessed with Stranger Things.
Oh, really?
And so it's becoming more on like TV shows, movies.
Gotcha.
And again, floating is less than 100 years old. It was invented by Dr. John Lilly in the 50s.
Okay.
It didn't even become...
Where's he from? America or where?
He was a scientist, a psychologist. He did a lot of psychedelic research too.
Yeah.
So he created the first float tank, and then it was evolved. He worked with Glenn and Lee Perry to develop like the Samadhi float tank, which was the first commercially available float tank.
Okay.
So they opened the first float center in Beverly Hills in the 70s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So if you think about floating, it's less than 100 years old.
Yeah.
Massage has been around for thousands and thousands
forever.
of years. Every 100 out of 100 people have heard of a massage.
Yeah.
If we were to stand on the strip right now and poll people, maybe 50% have even heard of floating.
Yeah, maybe.
I would say 30% have even tried it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 10% float regularly, if that. It's just still every day I'm out. I probably describe to somebody what floating is every day of my life.
Really?
Like at the gas station, at a restaurant, if I have my shirt on, at the gym, if I'm talking to people, like, what is that? Like, what do you own? A float center, like, or a float tank? And it's just, I love telling people about it. And then there's still a lot of people where, oh, that sounds cool, but they never come in. I see people at the gym for 3 years and they're like, oh, I still got to come try that float thing. I'm like, you're missing out, man. Like, it's been there for 3 years and you still haven't come in. It's like,
yeah, how much better
they just don't. I don't know. Some people, I don't know if they're not open-minded enough, or if they're just, people are stuck in their ways, or they're just, they say, I'm busy. I'm too busy.
People procrastinate on anything in life.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like that entrepreneur mindset, you learn not to procrastinate because you realize that doesn't get you anywhere.
Right. And
you jump in with 2 feet and you figure it out on the way down. But most people need everything perfect, and yeah.
Exactly.
So you're a plunger. You love your cold water.
Oh man,
let's talk that.
Yeah.
I love my cold. I know you do too.
Exactly. I plunged this morning in my swimming pool.
I did.
So yeah, we just added about 3 months ago. It's the first fire and ice room in Vegas. So it's a cold plunge.
It's the first, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
first one that opened up in Vegas. I don't even know of another one right now, to be honest, even in the town. Cedar sauna, 180 to 200 degrees.
It's pretty hot in there, isn't it?
Oh yeah. But the cedar sauna, we have an infrared sauna too. So the infrared, you can do longer 30, 40-minute sessions.
What's the difference with the infrared?
Yeah, so infrared has a different type of heating element. It can penetrate up to 3 millimeters into your tissue.
Okay.
It makes you sweat more at a lower temperature.
Gotcha.
It also has chromotherapy lights, which are like medical grade color therapy lights. As you might know, like every color associates with like feelings, emotions. Some lights can help with like skin conditions, like acne or healing or scars or like tissue repairs. Okay. And then, so that sauna we have, you can do 30, 40-minute sessions. You lay out, you connect your Bluetooth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's a long time.
It goes by pretty quick.
Yeah.
If you're in there listening to a podcast or some good music, or some people like no music,
Yeah, because I know at my gym, I'm tapping out after 25 minutes because I'm done.
That's probably a traditional sauna.
Yeah, it is.
So that's the one with the traditional one you see in movies or something where you pour water on the rocks.
It's electric one, but I'm still tapping out after. Yeah. It's just too hot for me. Well, I go have a break and I can come back in.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about the cedar is 10, 15 minutes, rinse off, plunge. So how I do it is like 15-minute sauna, get a good sweat, quick cold shower, into the cold plunge, 2 to 5 minutes each round.
40 degrees, the water?
I would say, no, it's about 47 that we keep it there.
So it's not too. I mean, my one outside is about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be too cold, does it?
No.
Do you feel like a lot of people going wrong there where they think the colder is the better?
I think so.
It's like this ego thing, or look how tough I am.
Exactly. I've been told it needs to be cold enough that you want to get out, but you can stay in safely.
That's so the perfect way of putting
this is
it.
Cold. It's not like, it doesn't have to be 30 degrees where you just can't bear it. Even
and you're holding tight.
Even 50-degree water is still beneficial.
Anything under 60, I think, is pretty good.
I think so too. So you do the contrast. So you have the room for an hour there. You go back and forth, and I mean the benefits. I'm sure you've talked about them: the norepinephrine, the dopamine release. Plunging in the morning has been shown to help with metabolism. And just feeling good. If you can get through 3 minutes of pain and agony for some people, I mean, I've been learning to embrace it, but even some days I look at the water and I'm like, oh man.
You fight it every day, right?
I do not want to get in this water.
Every day.
This is going to be bad.
Every single day I fight with it.
And then I get in and I'm like, the first 30 seconds is the worst. And then I get my breathing under control. I slow it down. And then when you get out, you're like, man, you just feel awake.
Amazing.
You feel alive. You're ready to conquer your day. And if you can do that, you can do anything in life.
Oh, dude, there's so much I want to touch on. I just had Muay Thai today, private session, had my butt kicked.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. As soon as I get home, I jump in the cold water for 5 minutes.
So
take a cold shower. I'm brand new again.
Yeah.
I'm wide awake. I'm 100% alert. I'm ready to go. It's like that session didn't even happen.
Yeah.
I cannot stress it enough. If you want true energy, you want to get off caffeine, you want to get off energy drinks, you want to get off stimulants, you want to feel better, jump in the damn cold water.
Oh yeah.
It does so much for you.
It'll change your life.
And then, like you said, you fight it every day. I don't need to do this. Why am I doing this? Nobody cares about this. And you fight it, and then you do it, and all of a sudden you realize it's really not that bad.
Yep.
The hardest bit for me is actually when you get out, it's warming back up.
Exactly. But they say that's when you get a lot of the benefits. The shivering is when
if you actually can stand there and not towel dry, but just air dry.
Warm up naturally.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put a sweater on or something, but don't jump in a hot tub or don't run and take a hot shower.
Which is so tempting to do.
Exactly.
But when you don't do that, you build up this tolerance where you don't need to.
Yep.
I mean, to get out of a cold plunge into a cold shower, like what?
Yeah.
It sounds so stupid. And I wear the Aura Ring every day. It tracks my calories.
How's that working?
I find it great. Like it tracks my calories, tracks my sleep, tracks my restfulness. Cool. But what it's doing is my calories burnt per day for the last couple of weeks since doing daily cold plunges is up dramatically.
Yeah. Is that metabolism?
Every day I'm over 3,000, 3,500 calories. I'm literally up 250 to 500 calories per day.
Sweet.
And today I've done 2 5-minute cold plunges. One when I woke up, one straight after training.
Yeah.
And I had Muay Thai, so my calories would be like 3,600 today. So as far as like metabolism, weight loss, it's not why I'm doing it, but it's also a nice little perk.
Yeah.
It's a huge perk it comes with it.
Absolutely.
What has the cold done for you personally?
Man.
You mentioned mindset.
Yeah, mindset. Well, pain for one. I do
inflammation, right?
I do a lot of hot yoga. I do HIIT training, weightlifting, cardio. Those are kind of my workout routines. But yeah, now I'm actually cold plunging before my workouts. So I'm doing that. It wakes me up. It's more alert. And I've read that if you're weightlifting to build muscle, that you should actually not cold plunge right after a weight session because it can lead to actually atrophy and preventing muscle growth. So do it either before or wait 3 to 4 hours after you lift, but don't lift really heavy. I want to bulk up and then jump in the cold.
I have seen that. I've seen that a
lot. So I've read that, and so I've been not doing that. So days that I lift, I'll I'll cold plunge before, or if I lift in the morning, I'll cold plunge later in the evening, just to kind of space it out a little bit.
I like that.
But just, just the mental fortitude. And I did a Wim Hof, this guy, Ryan Bean, who's actually doing a workshop at ours.
I want to come to
and
that.
I want to invite you. I got a ticket for you.
Yeah.
So he's
awesome.
Awesome, dude. I went out to Utah last month. And we did the Wim Hof breathing, which is euphoric. You're literally high on your own supply. You're fired up, you're amped up. We had to cut a hole into a pond.
Oh, nice.
Axe. This much ice in the middle of Utah. The air temperature was 34 degrees. The water was in the low 30s. And 15 to 20 of us, we all went in there. We're in a circle. We're breathing, we're chanting. Yeah. There was women there that were like, I'm not doing it. I hate the cold. Everybody got in. We were in there for about 4 minutes. Everybody stayed in the whole time.
That's
and then we had a bonfire and we're doing our movement. We're warming up. You know, you don't never flick your hands. It can lead to nerve damage after the cold. So they say like flashlight hands.
Okay,
so you want to slowly like almost do like some Tai Chi type of like movements. And you warm up naturally. But after I did that water, for one, if you can do that, you can do anything in life, right? And now all the water that I'm in, like I can handle. Like I was in the coldest water of my life. It was my hands. It took this finger like 8 hours to warm up. I had no feeling here for a while, but it was amazing. And it was like, after I did that, it's just anything in life, like certain challenges, certain obstacles, if you can get through cold water. And so many people are terrified of cold water.
I know even my Muay Thai instructor, he's so scared of cold water. Yeah. This guy will let a professional UFC fighter kick him, but he doesn't like the cold. I'm like, dude, you need to get perspective.
Exactly.
It's just cold water.
I know. It's like, it's not going to kill you. You need to embrace the cold.
Yeah.
You know? And a lot of people that I mentioned, oh, no. Like, I hate, they want a warm blanket. They want hot chocolate. They want to be comfortable. Everybody wants to be comfortable in life.
Yeah.
But to get out of your comfort zone, I say that's when life begins, is just stretching, getting out, getting uncomfortable, pushing yourself. That's helped me in business, in relationships, and just in
anything,
life.
Right?
Exactly.
Hormesis. You heard that word?
Hormesis?
Hormesis meaning what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Okay.
Exercise, fasting, cold therapy, sauna, everything you do on a daily basis.
Right.
We're creatures of comfort. We're always comfortable. We're never stressed. We're never under controlled stress. We're so weak. We're so weak-minded.
Right.
And unless you're an entrepreneur, you work for yourself, you're an athlete, we're not really ever pushed. So I love what you're saying. Like the cold is one way of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, doing something you don't want to do. Nobody cares if you do it or not. That's what makes it even. No one's holding guns to your head making you do it.
Right.
And that's the hardest things. Like if I don't do this, the only person that matters is to me. And it's like keeping that promise to yourself. And doing something you say you're going to do helps develop confidence.
Exactly.
And I've done cold showers for 6 years. Tony Robbins. If you take a cold shower a day, the rest of your day's easy. Yep. And I was like, oh, let's give it a go. And I did it. I was like, oh my God, I can do anything.
Right.
And all of a sudden, now I stopped getting sick. Oh my God, now I got more energy.
Oh yeah.
Now I feel better. Now I function better. Now my recovery's better. And then the cold plunges is just another level up of that.
Yeah.
Cold plunges are amazing.
And it's crazy that cold water has been around for millions of years. And it's just now like trending. And it's just now like the biohack. And I think there's more research studies and stuff. But like even 5 years ago, now my whole Instagram feed, maybe because that's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
all cold
plunges.
Me too. And I'm like, what
Idiots
the hell?
like us. But I always say this, hot water hasn't been around for that long. So at one point, that's the only way we got wet, and that's the only way we were able to bathe or to get wet was cold water.
Yeah.
But over time, we got heating and we got clothes and we got shelter
showers,
and we got hot water. So it's just made us weak. We don't even open the door half the time, it opens for us. We're so soft in so many different ways, and it's just getting worse.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's so important to do something that makes you so uncomfortable, because we're so weak.
Right.
Like, do you fast or not?
Yeah, I most
figured
days
you would.
Intermittent fasting.
And that's another example of that, right? I could never fast. I could never skip breakfast.
Yep. Oh, I skip it almost every day. I usually
skip
don't
breakfast
eat till
every single day.
Till like noon.
Yeah.
Unless I'm in an occasion where I'm meeting someone, I might have something light.
Yeah.
I'll try, but most days I definitely do. And to increase metabolism, they say if you cold plunge fasted in the morning, it speeds up the metabolism
or exercise.
even more.
I exercise fasted every single day.
Yeah.
I cold plunge fasted every day.
Yeah.
It's like I could never not eat. I could never do the cold. It's just that weak-minded, like, do stuff that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You will not grow.
But we're just a society. Everybody wants the warm blanket and the chocolate, hot chocolate.
The pat on the back. It's going to be okay.
And it's like everything's soft and fluffy and comforting. And I've always loved getting out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, me too.
Pushing, stretching, doing things, that not the average person would do.
Because if you do stuff that's not the average person's do, it separates you.
Yeah.
It allows you to build multiple businesses like you're doing,
Exactly.
have multiple locations, do bigger, better things because you're doing that smaller percent that no one else is willing to do. And it will take you further, right?
Right.
Do you journal?
I'm actually just getting into that.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I want to practice. I've been designing like a morning ritual where, my meditation in the morning. Biggest thing I've been trying to do is not look at my phone first thing in the morning. Social media, if you see something, it's bad news, it's that. So having that even 10-minute meditation or going down to my pool or into the business and my cold plunge before I look at my phone and start unloading all those emails and all
like
that.
So you're doing it before you even looking at your phone.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's the best thing. And I don't know if you know Andrew Huberman. One thing
Big fan.
I got from him is sunlight before screen time.
Ooh.
So getting the sunlight in your eyes in the morning helps with you falling asleep sooner. There's a lot of I don't know every benefit, but having the sunlight in your eyes just helps with your stress and being more alert and being more awake, being able to fall asleep later instead of just grabbing that phone right away and doom scrolling from your bed.
I need to do that.
So get outside, even if you just stand on your balcony and like look out and just meditate. Or I have a meditation cushion. There's tons of them on YouTube, like 10-minute morning meditations, either affirmations or just positive mantras that you can listen to. Breathe, and then avoiding, I do still drink some coffee or caffeine in the morning, but I have been doing a lot less since plunging. But waiting.
I like my coffee.
Was that?
I like the taste of coffee.
Yeah.
I don't need it because the cold just wakes me up, but I do a lot of my work at a coffee shop because I hate being at home. So it's just a black coffee. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't need it, but I like to have it.
Right. And waiting 90 minutes to 2 hours from waking before you have that coffee.
I got a couple of friends doing that.
I've noticed that you don't have that if you wake up at 6 a.m. and by 6:15 you're already drinking that energy drink or that coffee. If you can, I've been now drinking herbal tea in the morning, which helps with digestion, some mint tea, some non-caffeinated tea. And it helps me like have that hot drink in the morning, which a lot of benefits for digestion. Yeah. And then I'll wait 90 minutes, 2 hours, then I'll have my coffee, or then I'll have, if I'm going to go to the gym, a little bit of, pre-workout or something that's going to give me a little bit of boost so I can.
Not so reliant on it. I mean, because of this podcast, I've had so many guests journal. Yeah. So I started journaling, been journaling maybe 2 months. Nice. But I just created my own way of doing it. Goals, short term, long term, grateful, blah, 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 blah. One section, comfort zone. So every day I've got to write something down that pushes me out of my comfort zone. And that's something I would probably recommend for you because I think you would embrace that. Something
that you have done or you want to do?
Something I did that day or I did the previous day that pushed me out of my comfort zone.
You have an example?
It could just be a cold shower.
Okay.
It could be going to a network meeting. It could be just doing a yoga class by myself. Just doing something that it's out of the ordinary. Okay. But every day it's cold plunge. That's just like a standard now. But then I'll add something else on, or here and there, or I'll do something new.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever get to the point where a cold plunge won't be out of your comfort zone?
I mean, I don't know. It's maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it does become ritual.
How long do you think you've been cold plunging in the morning, or like this
I do 5
routine?
minutes. I've been doing the plunging for maybe 2.5 weeks now.
Okay.
But I've done cold showers for 6 years.
Yeah.
And when I say every single shower I've had for 6 years has been cold. And the few times I've had a hot shower, I've started with cold and I've finished with cold.
Nice.
So I mean, and I can honestly say that from the bottom of my heart that when I commit to something, I'm 100% in. So this is just another example.
Right.
A mistake I made with the cold plunge, I was like, I'm gonna throw some ice in it. I'm gonna do a 15-minute one. I've never been so cold in my life to recover.
Right.
I was fine in it. It took me like an hour and a half to warm up. So I was like, maybe I may have overdone it.
Right.
So I think, and I did a video about, I think you got to be careful. Like you got to build your way into it.
Oh yeah.
But I was so cold and I was shaking. I was like, this is probably not a good thing.
Yeah. We say that at work. We're like, don't be a hero. Like your first time, they want to go 10, 15, 20 minutes in there. I like to add on newbies. Even if you can, some people can only last 30 seconds.
Yeah, just totally fine.
That's great. The next time, add on 30 seconds, go a minute, then go 90 seconds, build it up to 2 minutes. Then you have something to work towards. Same thing with weight training or that. You're not going to curl 100 pounds right away. You have to start with
Or you can make yourself
30.
so cold you never want to do it again.
Exactly.
And if you did what I did for 15 minutes your first time, you would never want to do it again.
And 15 is a long time.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing though, once you're in it, you could kind of stay there forever.
Yeah.
But and then I know a big thing, like constantly moving. Do you try to do that? Like not just sit there in the plunge?
When I do the pool, I'll move around because it does feel colder when you
so
move.
much colder.
Yeah,
right?
if you're still and stoic,
it creates like this insulated barrier around you.
Exactly. So I will the plunge that I have at the business, it is big enough to move around a little bit.
Yeah.
And if I'm in the pool, I'll even swim a little bit under, or I'll just kind of
really?
walk back and forth.
Perfect. Yeah.
I try to get up to my all the way the base of my skull up to there to get all the best benefits and get my entire neck, shoulders,
you kind of
everything in. Yeah.
When I went to the healing sanctuary, the water actually runs.
Cool.
So it's 40-degree water and it constantly moves. So
Nice.
It's like so much harder, but it's so much better because of that.
Yeah.
What's the future now as far as like, are you looking more locations, cooler, better, more modern equipment? Where you go from here?
Man.
Because I mean, there's always cool stuff coming out.
Yeah. I definitely want to be more involved in the cold plunge and sauna business.
I like that.
I think having a place that had multiple plunges where people could come in and do a quick plunge, throw their towel in the bin, leave, as opposed to having to book the room for a full hour.
Yeah.
And just making it more easier access. Because
what about like a public room where you can kind of egg each other on?
That's what I'm thinking about. And there's some other places in other areas. There's one in San Diego, Breathe Degrees. It's almost like a giant hot tub, like looks like a hot tub, but it's cold water.
Oh, so anyone can jump in it.
They do group, and they have a large 10-person sauna.
Okay.
So you can do groups in there. They have breathwork classes. So having something similar to that.
That sounds really
There's
cool.
one in Utah called Plunge with a J, and it's like almost like you have a day pass or you have an unlimited, and you plunge, you sauna, you go in, and you just have that easy unlimited or package type membership business.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
So that's one of the goals. Expanding, always want to, always thinking about growth, always thinking about that. But personally, I want to get these businesses where they're stable, and traveling is one of the things I really want to have more time to do. It is cool to entrepreneur, grow, build, but life is short.
Money's only money, right?
And I'm, I make a decent living, and money is not like my number one motivation.
Yeah.
Obviously, money is energy and it allows you to do things. But traveling, getting out there, just enjoying life, working on my yoga practice, having times to go hiking and just enjoying life.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much grinding I can do, and I already work a lot right now in just these locations that if it happens, it does. If we franchise IMR in the future, that's always a possibility.
But you're not trying to conquer the world.
Yeah. I mean, as nice as it sounds, like enjoying life and being happy are most important to me.
I feel like we get so caught up in more money is better, but I can remember my experiences so much more than I can the money I made.
Exactly.
I can remember, like, even last year, I remember being in Oregon, looking at this massive waterfall. I remember standing at the bottom of the World Trade Center in New York. I remember staying in this like $5 million yacht in San Diego Bay. These are things that just happened last year that I can remember. Right. I can't remember how much of money I made this week or that week. Or
exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
But those memories will live with me forever.
Yep.
And I feel like for a long time, you're always chasing that money. But it's like you said, life goes quick. And you could get injured, you could get hurt. You never know what's going to happen.
Your health is everything.
Yeah. And I like the fact you and I prioritize our health, because your health is your wealth. And I mean, at 43, I can still do everything I did when I'm 20. And I want to be able to do that when I'm 50, 60, 70, and 80. It's not so much how long you live, it's the quality of life that you live.
Exactly.
And being able to, travel. You don't wait till 65 and you can barely move and you're overweight to travel, because you may not be able to enjoy it then.
Exactly.
So I'm on the exact same page with that.
Cool.
To finish off, breath work. You do a lot of it. How are you with the breath work?
Yeah, I'm getting more into it. I did my first Wim Hof type breathing workshop, and I learned the fundamentals. So that's the workshop on the 11th.
Yeah.
You learn the fundamentals, you learn the principles, and I've been watching different YouTube videos. I'm still kind of amateur, but in the cold plunge, I do some breathing techniques, even in the float center, or in the float tank. Through yoga, I've been really working on my breath. So yeah, I love it. And like I say, I do it floating, yoga, cold plunge. Sometimes my morning meditations include just some simple box breathing, or some more like upbeat breathing as well. Okay.
Have you noticed your breathing has improved from the cold plunges?
I think so. I mean, my breathing's always been solid.
Okay.
I'm big into yoga, so that's a lot of Ujjayi breath and breathing through that way. So, but I have noticed, through cold plunging, for one, I haven't been sick. I feel like my respiratory system is good.
You won't get sick anymore.
Yeah.
I haven't been sick since I started cold showers.
That's great.
It's 6 years and I haven't been sick.
Yeah.
It's
good.
It's amazing. But the cold plunging, my breathing has improved dramatically.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I had problem breathing, but I breathe so much better. I breathe through my nose. I breathe 3 times deeper than I ever have.
Yeah.
When I'm in the car, when I'm relaxed, I'm breathing better. When I'm getting my butt kicked, I'm breathing better.
The nasal breathing is crucial. A lot of people are mouth breathers, breathing through their mouth. James Nestor's book, Breath, changed my life too.
Yeah, I need to read that, actually.
Amazing book. Just how valuable it is. And sleep apnea, snoring, all these conditions are all from people breathing through their mouth.
It's all close around,
and their nose is so congested or so clogged up that people can't breathe through their nose. So
why are we congested?
I think it's just, I don't know. It could be from diet. It could be from, I honestly don't know why people are. I find living in the
desert, I struggle harder to breathe.
Could be allergies too.
Yeah. Coming from Australia to the desert, I find my nose is always.
But if you breathe through your nose more, it's going to be more clear, and your nasal passages will eventually.
And I think that's what's probably happening is I've been so clogged up for so long from the desert. I think being forced to breathe in through my nose, literally for survival in the cold, I think that's what's changed.
And if you're constantly breathing through your mouth, you're not using.
Do you ever do the mouth tape?
I know about that. I don't really use it. I don't snore, or at least I've never been told I snore, but I know that that's a good way to help with sleep apnea, sleep conditions, and it could fix snoring.
I tried it once and I really liked it. I actually want to order some
more. They talk about that in breath. That's one of the techniques that he talks about of changing your life. He does a study in there where he literally puts cotton in his nose for like 2 weeks, and he just only breathes through his mouth. And he measures all his vitals, his, basically his health deteriorates from only breathing through your mouth. And then when he opens it, all his oxygen levels, his breathing, all his blood pressure, all improves. So it's a really cool study to show just how important it is to breathe through your nose and less through your mouth.
Have you heard about the girl, very pretty girl, who she had something happen and she started breathing through her mouth, and her face her facial structure started to change and she started losing her looks.
Wow.
And then she retaught herself how to breathe properly and she got everything back.
Interesting.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
They say that your facial structure will actually change the way you breathe.
Yeah.
That's some heavy stuff, right?
It's true. It's very true. And like, I think they showed skulls of the human over time. And because we became mouth breathers, our facial structure, our jaws, our teeth, braces, all that has to do with your breathing and breathing through your nose.
Nuts.
Right.
Crazy stuff. Yeah. All right, man. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
We could talk all day. So
good stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Windhoff. So
yeah, please come. You're going to love it.